Following is an exclusive presentation of Cablevision local programming. TV that's close to home.
And the purpose here is that we want people to know that number one, their contribution is tax deductible. That's number one. And number two, that 100% of the proceeds will go toward this project, and we will eventually put all of our receipts and documentation up where people can go to and see exactly where each dollar that's raised is going, so people can feel comfortable that this is their money is going exactly for what they
and they can see it earmarked.
Absolutely.
And then when you're done with this first phase, people that have a heart for this and they feel called to do this from all churches, you want them to come down and help?
Come, because we're going to need to have the administrative component, which is running these facilities, being able to expand the program into after-school programs, and what will these mothers and children do with their children during the day and things of that sort. So there's going to be an administrative and a managerial component.
So you're going to have people that are going to be down there long-term, hopefully.
Yeah, so it's going to be calling for social.
But you're going to need volunteers that can come down for like a week at a time to do the grunt work.
Yes,
to get
the social
it
services.
done. Yeah, to get it done. Yes. Why do you have such a heart for this, and how did you two meet?
Well, meeting Dr. Jim Bostic is something that's highly, to me, mystical and somewhat of a blessing, simply because he was calling me while I'm in Haiti during my first Haitian relief mission in Haiti in February. And it was simply to come and pick up donations. And once I returned back to the States, I went to see him, and something went through my mind and said, hey, share with him this idea that you have of quickly resolving this homeless situation with the victims from this catastrophe. And I did, and he was at awe and couldn't believe it, because they had been trying for the past few months of getting their foot in the door into Haiti, because they wanted to participate and do a lot of good things for Haiti and for the Haitian people. And that's how this whole partnership somewhat emerged.
Working with the Neperhan Community Center, you also talked about the fact that you're trying to deal with the violence of youth here.
Yes.
I work in the news on these shows, and from cities from Yonkers to Newburgh to Kingston to Poughkeepsie to, I mean, we can go on and on and on and on. Kids killing each other all the time.
Yes, they are.
And oftentimes in gangs, and oftentimes on people of their own families, own relationships, own color, and all history.
That's right.
You deal with this all the time. When you talk to the kids, it's only a click away from someone being in the community center and saying, I'm going to get my life together, and getting out there and making a mistake, right? I mean, it's a very fine line.
Sure.
How do you reach them? Look, I mean, go ahead. No,
first of all, it's a difficult challenge. I also serve as the chairman of the City of Yonkers Violence and Gang Prevention Coalition, so we spend a lot of time with this. We meet with students individually, and we go into the schools and we meet with, for example, all the males. We take a team of men in and we talk directly to them, and we try to, if you will, show them an alternative side to that lifestyle. We try to show them the greatness inside of them and how that greatness can be realized, but then how that greatness can be destroyed if they choose to go to this illicit lifestyle. So we try to show them the difference between coming from the streets and making the choice to do positive things, and the difference between making those poor decisions.
Right, so if you have a lot of kids, young kids, don't have fathers, families broken down, and self-esteem is low, and want to be accepted. I mean, we're making sociological generalizations here. I understand that.
Absolutely.
And then some gang comes along, says, "Hey, man, you're going to be with us," and they feel accepted. I mean, this may be just a little cliche, and they also feel fear. How do you? And again, I don't expect a full-blown answer. How do you get them to say, you can get that here, and it'll have long-term effects? I mean, how do you get them to snap out of that?
Because it's not in what you say, it's in what you do. In other words, you have to become their surrogate parents in many ways. You have to create a community of mentorships or mentors, both male and female, who can step in the absence of a father, in the absence of a broken family, and become that father, and show them that it's a different type of relationship than the one that they're going to become a part of in the streets. So the answer is, you need mentors. You need male mentors, you need female mentors, and they have heard so much rhetoric. It's not so much in what we say anymore, it's in the love that you show them, it's in the time you spend with them, it's in the extra mile you go to try to help whatever circumstances that they're going in, and it's making yourself available all the time, day and night, so that when they're pressured, when they need somebody to call, they can call upon you, or you know, they don't have to deal with you just 9 to 5 or from 8 to 3 when they're in school.
Well, I think you make a good point. You know, the old writer, I don't know if you know Oswald Chambers, he wrote a book, My Utmost for His Highest, said, you always know when someone has suffered where you've suffered because they always have time for you.
Yes.
You can give them all the other things, but if someone's giving you time, you know they've walked that path. Otherwise, they don't. I don't want to bring it. I mean, I have to bring it up. Basketball. You were a basketball player. You were a star at Yonkers High School. I mean, look, you got to go through this. We've got a big audience here. You were a star at New Mexico State, and also went on to play for the Detroit Pistons. Look, obviously that has to give, and a lot of the kids in the inner city love to play basketball. I mean, there has to be a connection to them, a draw, a lure. You got to use it.
I've used it. It is the lure. It's got me in a lot of places. It's enabled me to develop a lot of relationships that I probably otherwise would not. And please let me make one correction. It was Gorton High School, because all my Gorton
they'll go crazy if they say you went to Yonkers.
They would kill me if
you better believe the competition is stiff.
It's actually Gorton High School. But yeah, it's got me into a lot of doors. It's given me an opportunity to talk a lot. I'm a foster child. I never I never knew who my biological mother or father was. I came from the streets of Yonkers, and so you know, I wanted them to. I let them know that, you know, I may even come from a worse place than what you think you're in right now. And I'm also 100% blind in my right eye, so I started out that way from 11 years old. So, I mean, I had to overcome a number of early obstacles to be able to work my way up to where I am today.
Wait. You're 100% blind in your right eye.
That's correct.
I'm sorry. And you were able to excel like that for all those years on the basketball court?
That's correct. That's correct. I mean,
that's amazing to me. That's takes a lot of work and tenacity. But I mean, I know you want to get on to the other things, but
I want to just say this really quick in response to that, because it speaks to who I am and what I believe in. I believe through Christ we can do anything. And I was brought, the family that raised me was a very religious family, and they taught us how to pray and to put our faith in God, and I did so from a very young age. And nothing basically that I've ever wanted have I not been able to achieve, and I believe it's because of my faith and those prayers of my parents and my own.
So do you believe quickly that that's kind of how you guys got brought together?
Undoubtedly. I firmly believe, yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah.
I think it's a great work, and meeting both of you, you know, because, you know, you get connected to someone who's been in Haiti, and I think people do want to help, so it's good that you can explain to them, you know, when the help is mostly needed. I know I have to wrap up here, so do we have some information to put up so people can go to? It's right there, Dr. Jim Bostic, the Nepperham Community Center. You can call them at 914-965-0203. Website is www.nepperhamcc.com. So we want to thank Dr. Jim Bostic for being a guest here. And also Maxima Augusta, did I pronounce that right? Maxima Augusta of the Haitian Memorial Foundation. And you just came on here to the show, and you've added so much to it, because we're able to see, you know, where all our hearts were. So thank you very much for being a guest. And because I got to get out quick, May 15th. May 15th is the walkathon. I'm Terrence Mikas. For everybody here at Meet the Leaders, think about joining and helping them. Have a good night.